All right, Toyota is finally beginning to reveal information about its 2024 Tacoma, making a big splash in the truck market. And I personally think that they not only caught up with their competitors, they overshot their competitors, and then they flanked their competitors along the way. This is, without argument, the most appealing and intriguing mid-sized truck. Let's discuss it a little bit today. Welcome back to All Cars, y'all. I am John, and this is not going to be a full review of every single trim line and every single option that Toyota's released on the new Tacoma. There's already dozens of articles and videos going through all of that information. What I want to do is look at the changes that Toyota made and how it actually fits into the mid-sized truck market, because this was a big move, and I'm not sure it's really appreciated for how big it is in the market. And we are living in a very special time here, where three of the biggest ones, Chevy, Ford, and Toyota, are all essentially offering brand new redesigned trucks in the same year. It's pretty special. Now, if you've been here to the channel before, you've heard me say it. I don't like the Tacoma. I haven't for probably 36 years, as a matter of fact. And primarily my frustration with him has always been around the driving position, and especially with that four-cylinder, that weak, noisy four-cylinder, very poor sound quality inside, bad ergonomics, and I think Toyota addressed all of my major concerns there. Now, in spite of an archaic platform, this has been the #1 seller in the mid-size truck market, and this is certainly going to continue to probably strengthen in that market with all of the changes they've made. Because, well, let's jump into it. Number one, how they caught up with everybody. Well, you've got a heavily revised chassis. Welcome to the 21st century Toyota. They are now adding disc brakes to it. And they've done some other things, which is raise the roof slightly, giving them a chance to raise the seating position. Hopefully you won't have that straight leg out driving position anymore. You get a little bit more flexibility from the steering wheel, and overall much better ergonomics. Also, the dash has been heavily revised. Now, some of the ergonomics for Toyota has been a little funky over the years. I think this looks pretty good in pictures. I think I'm going to hate it in person. Toyota has continued their idea that if it's a truck, it needs to look rugged, and to look rugged, it needs to look chunky. And it's the same thing they did with the Tundra. I found the Tundra really distasteful in person. I don't like anything about it. If you do, I understand completely, but for me, it does not work, and I think it just looks a little fake. I think that right now, the Colorado certainly is, in my mind, to my eyes, the best looking interior that's out there for mid-sized trucks. But Toyota is also going to offer two different sizes for the instrument cluster and two different sizes for the infotainment screen as well, fully bringing them up to being competitive with certainly offerings from like Ford. Now, under the hood, it gets a little more interesting, and this is where I think that Toyota started to really leapfrog the competition. That's arguable, but they're going to offer three different engines. Now, what's interesting is what Chevy did was take one engine with three different powers mated to one 8-speed transmission. What Ford did was, unfortunately, they went with an all-turbocharged option, so you have your 2.3-liter turbo and then 2.7-liter turbo V6, all through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Toyota's done something a little bit different. They've got a base-level turbocharged 4, an upgraded turbocharged 4, and then the turbocharged 4 with a hybrid system. Now, that middle-level turbocharged 4, they claim it offers about the same horsepower and much more torque than the V6 before, but if you're a fan of V6s or you're a fan of naturally aspirated engines, well, you are just out of luck from basically everybody right now, except for one I'll mention at the end. So they've added this hybrid option, which I could actually add that to. They just completely flanked the competition, but I'm going to put it in that they leapt over the competition. This is going to give people a lot more flexibility and is largely the same approach that Chevy took by offering turbocharged 4-cylinders that can offer the power and performance and torque of a V6. Really a strong offering from them, and it's all through a new 8-speed transmission with the Toyota. Really a strong offering there. But that leads me to where they flanked the competition, and that is that both Ford and GM, and Nissan for that matter, simplified their offerings. GM offers one truck, one bed, one engine of 3 different powers. Ford, you get the crew cab, you get a bed, you get an automatic transmission, 2 different engines, that 4 and that V6, that V6. Toyota offers 3 different versions of an engine. They're still offering a manual transmission, and they're offering a king cab and a crew cab option with 2 different bed lengths. Instead of trying to simplify like everybody else did, Toyota has continued to offer a full expansion of what you can get, how you can customize their truck. They've got 8 different levels of packages for this. So if you want a king cab with the base 4-cylinder and a manual transmission, it's still available. And they are going to get sales just from that. The other thing is that they did address one of my biggest concerns by not raising the truck overall, but raising the roof a little bit. They raised that seating position, which means they may be fixing something that's only been an issue for me since the 80s. We'll have to see. We'll have to be able to get in and drive it and sit in it, see if it feels like the penalty box it always used to. Outside styling, I think they made it contemporary, but it really isn't wowing me. It is very good looking. I wouldn't be ashamed to have one, but I don't think it's the best looking out there. But when you combine this with Toyota's traditional selling proposition, it's not the cheapest, but it is typically, historically, the most reliable and the most durable, the most truckish of the trucks. I think it's going to continue to sell well, and I think its sales will probably increase with all of the options that they're going to be able to capture for those people who can't find what they want at GM and Chevy and others. What this leads me with is all of this tells me that Toyota's, number one, caught up with its competitors. In the previous decade or two, Chevy and Ford have done a much better job at making their trucks more car-like, more refined, more quiet with nicer interiors to really address where truck buyers have moved to beyond the construction site. I think Toyota's finally caught up with them. If you like the interior, again, I'm just not a huge fan of it. But then they continue to offer all these options that allow a lot of flexibility for buyers. I think that's something that buyers want, and I think it's going to be a big hit. But the one thing that's really missing from all of these is that naturally aspirated V6. There's a lot of us out there who still, I get the numbers, I get the horsepower, I get the torque, I believe in Toyota reliability, but dang, sometimes you just want a big V6. And honestly, that kind of leaves me with the best option being the Nissan Frontier, without getting into a 1-to-1 comparison between interior size and height and breakover angle and towing and electronic features that are available, such as trailer braking and things like that. Without getting into, if you want a big V6 and you don't want a turbo, Nissan's your answer, in my opinion. If you want a manual, you head right back to the Toyota store. In conclusion, this is a strong, strong entry, and I admit I like it a lot more than I ever expected, guys. I'm not a fan of the Tacoma. While I deeply, deeply respect it, it consistently ranks dead last because it was so primitive and rode like a World War II Jeep as far as I was concerned. I didn't understand why anybody would buy it except for durability. But now I don't feel that way. Contemporary interior, if you like its chunkiness, great engine options, hybrid, flanking their friends, their neighbors, and their competition, multiple cab sizes, multiple bed lengths, and a trim line almost for everybody. This is a winner. This is a strong winner, and I can't wait to sit in one, see in one, and drive one and see what it's actually like. Let me know your thoughts below. Thanks for being here.